Hello, friends. Welcome to the first DevHub podcast live from NearCon 2023 with me, Vlad and Boris. Welcome, friends.
Thank you.
Happy
Thank
New
you.
Year, Con.
Yeah,
GM.
yeah, GM.
So happy to be here. It's very early in the morning, fourth day, still standing.
Yeah, barely,
It's-
but yes.
It's been intense, but it's
Yeah.
great.
So this is going to be the first episode of a DevHub podcast series.
Yes, it was a idea we had a few months ago, and I met Alejandro in APAC, right?
Korea or Vietnam or both?
Yeah, I think, yeah. So I was trying to do something like this, and everyone was telling, oh no, ABB. I didn't know it was you. I said, oh no, he's the guy, but his podcasts are very controversial. So yeah, that's the guy. So yeah, I made an event or something, and he came. So then here we are. He made a post near social and everything. So he's the first near social funded podcast, probably. I don't know. Probably yes.
Controversial is on the eye of the beholder, or I guess on the ear of the listener, but I'm very excited to start to capture the history of DevHub, to get the stories of the developers contributing. There's always been a challenge in getting into the technical aspect. I met this developer in Australia. I was trying to recruit him, and he works with many ecosystems. And I asked him to describe Near. Oh, because he gave me some pretty funny, accurate descriptions of other ecosystems. And I was like, describe Near for me. And he's like, there's something like geeky, but not afraid to get too technical. And I was like, damn, that's pretty good.
Fair, yeah.
I actually tweeted
we can
it.
take that as a DevHub logo. Geeky, but
Yeah, not afraid to get too technical. Yeah. We're here live at NearCon. Around us are the bodies of the hackers that have
those that
fallen.
didn't make it.
Yeah, it's been rough over the last 2 days. Vlad, before joining DevHub, what were you doing?
Before DevHub, I was working in Pagoda Inc. on the anything that is data related. So it was the data platform team. That's how it's called. But so I was leading it, and we tried to build and ship things like enhanced API, indexers, RPCs, Explorer. And I was involved in many things even before. If you like going back in timeline, I was basically contributing to almost every dev tool in the ecosystem.
So you're the person that they ping late at night. The RPCs are down again.
Exactly.
We hate you.
Which was like a blessed and curse at the same time.
Let's start looking into DevHub as an entity. When did it start? How did it evolve? And when did you get involved, Vlad?
It was so it was a history. So I would say like I got involved with Near ecosystem in 2006.
When I was born?
Yeah. No, it was a bit later than I was born. But the whole idea of DevHub was floating around in Near ecosystem since very early days. It was like core values that we wanted to promote in the Near ecosystem to begin with. Like developers was the core value of Near. And last year, around July, we started to work on this initiative that we initially called Dev Governance for just small problem to solve back in the days. It was NAPS. We wanted to create such important pieces of infrastructure.
Near improvement proposals.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so it was roughly July, I guess, last year. But then DevHub had a scope creep, and we basically created a lot. We had the ambitions, but we didn't have a team yet to help us with all the ambitions. And only was it April or something like this that we came up with the name DevHub actually. So I don't know like where to even say like when we started to be involved in that, because DevHub is.
The reason why I ask is because someone, somewhere along the line, did a masterful transition, an evolution. Caterpillar turned into an eagle. From my end, there were the grassroots DAOs that were meant to be on their GNDC. And at the time, there were 3 grassroots DAOs: marketing, creatives, and developer DAO, or DevHub now. And each DAO, due to its own performance and set of circumstances, took a different fate. It's almost like the story of the 3 brothers in Harry Potter. DevHub, and I've been saying this for a long time, was very smart to literally just run as far away as possible from governance and focus on its own thing, which in maybe counterintuitive ways, now has led to it grow and absorb more of that governance. That's why I'm so curious on what was that original intention, and maybe what are some of those like guiding principles that have enabled you guys to be maybe insulated from a lot of the noise and to just really go back to the core and get things done.
Sure, yeah. Our main motivation was the pain in the community that we felt ourselves, and we wanted to get it resolved. With naps, it was just you would submit a nap and nobody would review it. You would try to engage with the community, nobody would be there. It would just void.
Emotional damage.
I experienced it myself. I was on both sides. I was proposing and nobody was reviewing, and I was trying to help to review, but I also didn't have time to do it properly and didn't know like what people are actually talking about, because I was not expert in that area. And it was like, we probably need to have relevant people in the room. So that's how we started to just bring relevant people to the room. That's how we started to call it working groups. It was about the same time as NDC also was talking about working groups, but I feel like DevHubs were much more like expert focused. NDC was just like purpose focused, which is also like fine, but it was a bit of a different lens, I feel. And
Huge difference.
yeah,
I don't have much to say, but because that happened before I came in, so I'm.
You can just nod. You're looking great.
Yeah. So whatever Vlad says.
I definitely experienced that. I actually wrote like a vision or guiding principles for the centralized governance around some groups being default dead. Just creating a Telegram group is not enough. Just saying that it exists is not enough unless somebody actually comes forward and they have the skills and experience and the time and they deliver. Let's just call it default dead. They have to prove themselves to grow into existence. And once again, the opposite for the working groups. I joined some working groups, which is hilarious because I didn't understand anything on the call. There was one for like data analytics or indexers. Tiffany from Pagoda was just running through. The entire thing was just code and screen and crazy stuff happening. And I was just like, I don't know what this is, but I'm excited that it exists. Like it was very reassuring to see the few people that needed to know. Perhaps fewer than we needed, but it was, expert driven. And that's why I'm excited to see how it has expanded out as it has gained more stability, I guess. Usually scope creep has a negative connotation.
no, not really.
No.
It was a challenge. It was a challenge that we wanted to have. It's a problem we want to have. That's,
Good problem to have.
yeah. Thanks. But it also was just a identification challenge for ourselves until we arrived to the name DevHub. It was really hard to communicate the scope of our work. Somehow, when we created the name, even though like it's obvious today, it totally was not obvious back in the days, and it was a lot of iterations until we arrived to DevHub, and finally we could communicate with almost everybody with just one word: we are DevHub. And it had really like a lot, like you can come up with any name, but if it's not aligned with what you want, then people will constantly be confused and would assume different things.
Yeah.
With DevHub, I think it's actually aligned with what we are doing.
I was telling my engineers for the hackathon that the name had to be either super crystal clear what we do or some really weird shit that is memorable.
Yes. So people
Something
just
in
don't
between,
make...
you don't remember the name, it's confusing. But no, DevHub is great.
No.
Yeah, sometimes people. When I came in, the main thing will be like, what do you do? What do you do, right? So that's. But now, the mandate of being developer oriented, it resonates more with the name, right? DevHub. So now I think we are definitely moving into other areas that we need to have more control, because the existing pipelines. I came with a blank slate, with do the DevRels and bring ideas. So I've been bringing an approach of A/B testing. So we're testing stuff, and some of this stuff have been moving into areas that are not naturally ours. And sometimes it's been hard to try to make it fit into the DevHub. So when I talk with everyone, okay, however we frame this is about developer acquisition, bringing developers into the ecosystem. So try to make it fit into the DevHub mission. Now it's getting more challenging based in probably recent conversation with the alien stuff. We need to probably go a little more. So it will be hard to make it fit into the DevHub. But still the main idea is that developer acquisition and engagement.
I think that's why when people think of scope creep, it seems like a negative thing because there's a set of assumptions. The first one is you've got regulatory capture. So if one person is doing something, no one else can. And then scope creep means that you've got the one entity doing more things, which is taken away from someone else's activity. That's why scope creep can be good if it is happening for the right reasons, whatever. But you always want to leave that door open to alternatives or competition.
Oh, definitely. We didn't try to capture flags from other teams. We just noticed ourselves that there is a lot more void in ecosystem that we actually can help with. We didn't have time at that point in time, and we felt like we can do it. We can do it for the ecosystem. We have a good understanding how to do it, but we didn't have the resources. And that's a realization helped us to basically bring Boris, bring Joe, bring Maria to the team. The team grew from just 3 people talking in a room to now we have full, almost half of the Hagar HQ space to help us on different things and totally not overlapping directions that we are empowering people to do. One thing that I learned over the years, I started as a software engineer myself, being like individual contributor. And while I was working in Pagoda, I was moving into the direction of managing people and building teams. And one of the trainings that I went through was changing my paradigm of thinking about management in general. I'm from Eastern Europe, where there is a lot of influence of top-down management. I have very negative connotation of word manager in my country, and I was not feeling well becoming a manager myself. So, but the training went very well for me. I was like, I learned about different approaches to management, and the way they presented it is like it's a tree structure, but it's not top down. It's like bottom up. Actually, like it's a tree that managers are supporting the peers and the ecosystem. So that's how I see my role in DevHub, to support whoever I can on their like success path and just make them productive as much as possible. Yesterday at DevHub panel, I said like I believe that every human has a superpower, and we just need to play to those superpowers. That's what my mission here, I believe.
I agree with Vlad that we didn't take any flags from other teams, but there are things we need to be done, and we need to have it done. So probably that's where probably you can see that we are jumping into the other side. For example, marketing. We need our own marketing, or marketing done for developers that is not the same that is probably traditionally being done. We need our own approach to communities, like stuff like that. That's what I think. Regarding how we do the management, I have a different school of management. I got my management training in crypto, that it was different from the one you get to school. And I got it working in places like Harmony. It was like the war, right? It was like heavy, like community was brutal. Like every week you're being accused of taking money or having sex with grantees. It was tough. So from that,
But did you do it?
No, I'm innocent. No comments. No, but it was tough. Harmony was tough. I came when I started to came to Aurora, and so they give you the space to do your own thing. You bring into that. So I know how the community works, what doesn't work. So my approach, testing and chipping and see what works and what's not, but always chip, deliver. If it doesn't work, move to something else. But the only way to do that is not talking more about management, but leadership. I just try to enable people to do stuff, and give them enough power. And I think that's what the Maxim and Vlad gave me, like enough power that go out, do it, do your own mistake. If you fail, let's talk about it. Yeah. But I had never been constrained sometimes we discuss stuff, but it's never, it's very horizontal. So that's probably, we are starting to get in a little more trouble. And I expect we will get in more trouble from now on.
If you're not getting in trouble, you're not getting things
Yeah.
done.
The perfect is the only thing that is perfect is that's not haven't even been started.
Yeah.
I experienced that. Some people went dormant and no one ever complained or said anything against them because they were like a ghost. It was like they were not there. So I guess that, yeah, it comes with the territory. I do think that as a bystander looking at the technical picture, and I'm a very visual learner, it would really help to try to have a lay of the land and understand when do you need that leadership to then attract the people to do different types of work. Because usually when the frustration comes in is, sure, you attempt to do something and it may not work, but there's like a lot of nuance as to, did you really try? Why didn't it work? If this was given to a different team under a different set of circumstances, could it have done differently? And the main challenge that we have now in crypto is that because everything is decentralized, we have a lot of problem having conversations that should be pretty standard. If I'm deploying $50,000 a month in marketing here, and you guys are doing X for X price, what's the benchmark?
Yeah.
Because you can do something quite niche and get outsized returns in something that moves the needle for you. This is uncorrelated. So I think that we need to find a way to give people autonomy to experiment, but also work together. And
I think we need to give the opportunity to people to fail. My main issue that dealing with the community is like the why them and not me, right? Like I found this team. So why did you give the money to the team? What did you give to me? So that's the one I've been trying to address beforehand. I'm telling this when people, we assume that this project might not succeed. It might be that other team could have done better, but this is the one we're doing right now. If I go with team B, then team A will be the same. Why B and not A and A not B? So that's the one I'm trying to like preemptive, because that happened to me in the past a lot. Oh, you gave the money to this project when I was doing this. So how do you know, right? So that's one of the projects. This money, we're giving more think about it. We're working much more with the project so that when the proposal goes to Near Social, it's more ready to be approved. But still, it may fail. And to be honest, like VCs, they will tell you only 20% of the projects succeed. So,
but depends how you define success. Are you looking for 100x next company, or a failure that inspires 5 new developers to join? Because the cost of acquisition for the developer must be very high.
For me, succeed is in 3 years that the project is still there, it's still working. That would be a success. If it failed, and if they didn't make a rug pull, that's a success too. And they fail organically, that's fine. But I mean,
if they steal the money,
yeah, that's a failure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
Yeah. So that's for me is the part of success fails. But it seems that the bar seems to be higher in crypto because everyone is attacking each other. Everything is public, right? Oh, everyone knows how much money I give to this specific every cent, so they know, right?
Being a grant allocator is hard, especially at the ecosystem level, because you gotta have the big picture. Like for instance, to me personally, and maybe this is why I'm not allocating money as part of the DevHub, if you find one project and that initiative fails, but the team is still around and they're learning and contributing, they could probably get hired by another team, or that's not like a full failure. You didn't expect to make money from the investment, and there's value being generated in ways that weren't intended. And that happens all the time.
I agree. The idea can fail. The team does not necessarily fail after that.
And the knowledge and the experience.
But the valuable knowledge that needs to be extracted from there is postmortem, basically, document or something. Or just thinking about it as a team, as everybody involved there, basically.
This could be a really
to make
good
it success.
This could be a really good segue to if we apply some of that reasoning to like the microcosm of hackathons. I've heard some very interesting reflections. Ilya thinks that they're too short to build real products. I've heard explicit guidelines that we're looking for teams that can work on the projects like longer term. There are new resources to make sure that the hackathon participants are as good as they can be. Maybe can you give us a really quick lay of the land of what the DevHub has been doing in terms of hackathons in general, like the presence this year, some of the lessons, and then we can go into Hacka Box and the future.
You want to take this one?
I can do, but do you want?
Yeah, the hackathons, we have the Hackbox. We're organizing the hackathons. You will start seeing us more and more in the local events. We are decentralizing the DevRels. We just launched the Chinese DevRels. We're actively talking with Brazilian DevRels, Korean DevRels. So the first stop is there, you're doing the hackathons and being more active and more engaged with the developers, giving the better tools. Then we want, after they win, or after they probably not necessarily win, but they were engaged, you are ready to devise a post-hackathon engagement strategy. We brought Joe from Chardock, and he is working to create a very well-established set of strategies to keep it in the environment, give them what they need, and find them their space within the near ecosystem. So that's where we are working heavily on that. You will see a few things happening, like monthly challenges, more engagement for the developers. And it will happen very soon, like December, January, will be very on top of it.
I think the most important discovery for myself when we were like brainstorming the ideas how to bring developers more engaged and how to make our ecosystem even better was that like we need to give people the purpose of being in the ecosystem to make them feel connected and also be empowered. So that's like a lot of opportunities these days, not only hackathons, not only specifically crafted challenges, but also fellowship programs, mentoring that is still not part of our thing, but we are looking forward to.
Is a purpose thing at odds with DevRel? Because the way that I see it, and
It's
I'm
not
pitching
only
for
DevRel, it's all over the place. It's about contributions to the core, and then, yeah.
I'm asking because I'm pitching for a job here. Because the way that I see it, we need DevRels to be able to assist hands-on technical and meet hackers where they are at hackathons. But I've spent 2 years trying to find the place of where do the evangelists go? First of all, where are they? And how can we empower them? Like, where are the cheerleaders? Where are the people that can get the message and replicate it almost as well, or hopefully better with more energy, than Ilya or the insane amount of content that we've had on stage? Because I feel like that's the layer that we're missing. We need the cheerleader to go there, tell a story, get everyone excited, and then DevRel can be there to support as needed. It could be the same person if you find someone very special like Joe. I think he could do that. But my experience has been sometimes DevRels are waiting for the technical component because that's their area. They may not be as good or have the time to be communicating. It's almost like a sales role.
Sure. I was actually getting a lot of inspiration from Rust community myself, and how I've been organizing local events in my home city for Rust, just gigs. So I think there is a need for some spark and showing people how simple it is sometimes to run a local meetup, which is just basically your friends, your fellow engineers that you can also inspire and get some cool, fun things done over the weekend or whatnot. So I think we need to create this culture of being empowered, and just what I'm trying to avoid for people to view DevHub as like top-down structure of like they are only given grants. We want to actually people to start to elevate themselves and share among each other. So this is, I think, very important.
Let's levitate together. I think it was Maxime or Eugene the Dream. Let's attribute it to Maxime to be able to close on a high note. He said that there were two types of meetups. One where, whatever, they ask for thousands of dollars to the marketing DAO. The other one, it's 2 boxes of pizza and quality conversations in a room. Like, people show up because of the brain power. And yeah, it's good to know that DevHub is in the hands of the people that believe in the 2 pizza.
Yeah. Thank you very much, man. And definitely, we'll be around. Reach out to us, and we are definitely working more in the regions. If you need to be your area to be covered, either start your own thing or come to us, and we'll help you to do your own thing. And then find that inspiration. I think inspiration is local. I just told the Metapool guy, he was started the Mexican DevRels. If in Mexico, what you need to do to bring developers is open a bottle of tequila, but let's buy bottles of tequila.
You
right?
said it, I did it, but yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for being here. It was my first time. And subscribe to the DevHub podcast. We're going to have more conversations like this one. Hopefully you'll be inspired, empowered, elevated. We can all levitate towards greatness together, and stay safe.
Awesome. Thank you very much,
Awesome.
man.
Thanks.